Alright, video 2. So, the answer to the last question on the first video was that points on the circle are called circular points, and I'll sometimes refer to them as that. Now, the wrapping function value for larger numbers can be pretty labor intensive. We can, however, learn the values for some particularly useful real numbers using geometric properties, and then we'll know the wrapping function value based on those multiples after the fact and without actually calculating how many times, the number 105 would cause a real number line to wrap around a unit circle. So this is the game. We get some basic points located between 0 and the first lap around the circle, and then any other multiple of that we're going to know because we can simply divide, see how many times we went around the circle, gauge where we were on that where we would have been if it was just one lap, and get the value. So that's what we're going to spend the next couple of days doing. Now, here we have our unit circle with the point 10 labeled to the right. Now, the circumference of the circle is, of course, 2 pi, which you guys worked out last week. Now, since this is a unit circle, I hope you can guess what the radius is. The radius is 1. So 1 is what we need to put into this formula for our circumference, and since the circumference of the unit circle is 2 pi, we know that it must be 2 pi around the circle, and therefore, look closely, pi halfway around the circle. Pi halves would be a quarter of the way around the circle, and 3 pi halves would be 3/4 of the way around that circle. Now, if anything is a multiple of these, is a multiple of 2 pi, we know that it's going to go around the circle an exact number of times. And if anything is an odd multiple of pi, we know that it's going to go around the circle some number of times, but that it will ultimately end over here to the left side. So, that's your main idea for the night, and before you come to class, I would like you to add these points to your circle. Do this using what you've been practicing about fractions. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you should be able to gauge with some level of accuracy where all of these fractions would fall around the circle. They are all between 0 and 2 pi.